They didn't own companies. They owned civilizations. Before stock markets, before billion-dollar valuations, before Forbes lists, there were men so rich that kings borrowed from them, armies depended on them, and entire empires bent around their balance sheets. This is not modern capitalism. This is ancient finance. When we imagine ancient power, we picture kings on thrones, emperors with crowns, generals with swords. But behind every throne stood someone far more dangerous, the man who controlled money flow. Ancient merchants weren't traders, they were infrastructure owners. They controlled shipping routes, grain supply, metal mines, salt roads, trade ports. If your city needed food, if your army needed weapons, if your empire needed tax revenue, you paid them. Today we call them billionaires. Back then, they were called merchants. Same role, different costume. In the ancient world, whoever controlled ships controlled the economy. Because ships moved. Food, soldiers, slaves, gold, information. No ships meant no survival. Sound familiar? Today, whoever controls logistics platforms, oil routes, semiconductor supply, digital infrastructure controls nations without firing a single bullet. Ancient shipping magnates didn't need crowns. They financed wars, then charged interest on victory. If the king won, they collected taxes through him. If the king lost, they funded the next ruler. Either way, they always got paid. Modern billionaires don't fund wars directly. They fund defense contractors, reconstruction companies, energy suppliers, data infrastructure. Wars change governments. Supply chains remain profitable. Different era, same equation. Ancient tycoons didn't rule territory. They ruled dependency. Cities depended on their grain. Kings depended on their loans. Armies depended on their metal. Remove the merchant, and kingdoms starved. Today, nations don't collapse when presidents fall. They collapse when credit freezes, oil stops flowing, shipping lanes close, digital payments fail. Power didn't disappear, it updated. Ancient billionaires didn't live in palaces, they lived near ports, near warehouses, near routes. Because power follows movement, not monuments. Today's billionaires don't chase flags, they chase bandwidth, energy, data, logistics, platforms. Same instinct, new assets. In ancient times, merchants influenced laws quietly. They negotiated tax exemptions, they secured monopolies, they controlled pricing. Kings announced laws, merchants designed them. Modern billionaires don't write laws either. They fund think tanks, they shape regulation, they influence policy language. Politicians announce decisions, capital decides them. Ancient tycoons didn't care who ruled, they cared how trade moved. As long as roads were open, ports were safe, and taxes were predictable, empires could rise or fall. Their wealth stayed intact. Modern billionaires don't fear elections. They hedge across governments, across currencies, across continents. Presidents change. Balance sheets survive. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Ancient kings ruled people. Ancient merchants ruled systems. And systems outlive rulers. That's why ancient tycoons weren't remembered in statues. They were remembered in trade routes, cities, laws, financial customs. Invisible. Permanent. Today, billionaires aren't powerful because they're rich. They're rich because they control systems you can't escape, just like their ancient ancestors. So next time you hear self-made billionaire, innovative entrepreneur, visionary leader, ask the ancient question, what system do they control? Because real power has never been about money. It's been about dependency. This is ancient finance, where history doesn't repeat, it refines. Subscribe, because understanding money isn't about becoming rich. It's about understanding who's been running the game for 5,000 years.